Dan here, Hardwood Hollow Skills channel. Giving you an update. I've been shooting a whole lot of footage lately. I'm going to be uploading it all over the next few months. I'm getting ready to have major back surgery, so I'm going to be recovering from that. And while I'm recovering, I figured I'd give myself something to do, which in this case is going to be to edit some video. Get that backed up. So I'm shooting a lot of stuff. Right now I'm going to do a review. Tool review. This is going to be the Viking power supply from Harbor Freight. This is supposed to be one of their newer, higher end products. It appears to be very well made. This power pack has got a jump starter capacity, USB and 12 volt, as well as having a flashlight on board, and it can be charged via AC power or 12 volt DC in a vehicle. For the jump start, 450 peak amps, and then the USB is 2.0 6 volt or 5 volt, whatever it is. So let's get into it. I got a few tests to perform, and then we'll see how it works. Alright, now let's do the unboxing. This is the Viking power supply or power pack from Harbor Freight. Alright, so it comes in this storage case. I'm going to go ahead and check the weight of it on my scale here, and everything you see as it comes is 2.5 pounds. So let's get into it and see what all's in here. Alright, first thing you'll see is we have the power pack here. This is the AC charging cable, the jumper cables. Down in here we have 2 additional cables here, which is your 12 volt power out, and this is your 12 volt charging cord. There's also a 2-way charging cable here, USB cable, so that's your USB out, and that's mini USB out, and let's turn this way so you can see mini USB out, and then of course your Apple, and this is naturally the old style Apple. So if you have the newer iPhones with the narrow mini USB size, you'd have to get the adapter. And then I went ahead and threw in, this is just a multi-USB port, so that if I need to use to charge multiple items on USB, I have this bridge to do so. And then of course there's an instruction book. So first thing, let's go ahead and pull it out. Everything fits in the pouch nicely and tightly. So on the front you've got, I'll zoom in here a little closer. So on the front you've got your power button. This is your jump start button. This is your flashlight button, and these right here are battery indicators, charge indicators. So if I hit the power button to turn it on, you'll see all 4 power indicators come on. This particular one right here is a trouble light, and then when that's on you can hit this one, and when the green light comes on, that means you're in jump start mode. And then this is the flashlight. Push and hold, and the flashlight comes on, and you push and hold it again, and you have an SOS. Push and hold it again, and you have a strobe. Push and hold, and then it goes off. Now for anything to work on here, you have to hit the power first. Nothing else will work unless you hit the power button. And then on this side, this is the port where you put the jumper cables to plug in. Just pull the door back, and there's the 2 prongs in there. They're polarized, so you can't put them in wrong. There's your 12 volt out, your 5 volt 2 amp out for USB, and then your 12 volt and 110 volt in for charging. And then on the back it's just got just some basic information, of course, your warnings and whatnot. This tells how to connect for jump starting properly. So I had an idea. It claims that the light is, I believe it said 250 lumen flashlight. Honestly, it doesn't feel that bright, but let's just check it. Oh, I don't have my regular. I was going to check it against my regular flashlight, which I don't have on me, so I guess we won't test that. But I believe it says it's 250 lumen in the spec here. Yep, 3 watt, 250 lumen. Here's the specs that it gives for everything. We'll hold that up for a second so you can read it. Alright, and then so I brought up my multi-tester and I wanted to test the actual output voltage. So let's go ahead and peel back this, get our jumper cables out here. I'm going to assume that this red box right here is a fuse box or a circuit breaker built in. Like I said, it's polarized, so you'll notice that one of the cords has a flat side, one of the plugs, and that'll match up to a flat side on the box itself. So you can't plug it in wrong. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to set these here, and we're going to power it up. Alright, now let's see what kind of voltage we're getting here. Let's see if you can see the meter there. So I'm just, I've got the ground clamp hooked up. Now I'm going to hook the power up. This is DC voltage. This is right out of the box. I have not charged it in any way. And I'm getting 13.29 volts, so 13.3 volts. Pretty good right out of the box. Usually most things like this will come in at about 3/4 charge. So it had some residual voltage after I turned it off. I had another experiment that I was wondering, since this puts out such high voltage, I was wondering about the possibility of it being able to, at least in a very short-term manner, run something on 110 volt. And granted, I know this is outside of its parameter, but what I have here is a 400 watt peak power inverter, 200 constant. So I was going to set this up and see if we couldn't get something like this fan to run off this battery. Now this power pack has a lithium ion battery in it. So what I'm simply going to do is we're going to unplug it from the power pack, and then I'm going to connect the ground from the power pack and the inverter together, and then we're going to connect the hot from the ground and the inverter together, and then we're going to plug them back in. Alright, now we're going to hit the power button to power this up. So that's powered up. Now let's see if the inverter will power up. Maybe not. Not getting any lights off the inverter. Oh, forgot to put it in jumpstart mode. Alright. Okay, we got power to the inverter. Okay, so we're going to turn that off. Take it out of jumpstart mode. I brought this fan in here. So let's plug this fan into the inverter. And see if this has enough juice to turn this fan on. We'll turn the fan on to low. Now let's put this back in jumpstart mode. Turn on the inverter. I have fan. It's not real strong, I can tell you that much, but that fan is in fact turning. You can hear it. The cooling fan on the inverter was working hard too. Alright, I also brought my jigsaw. So we'll check my jigsaw and see if that has the capacity to run, if this has the capacity to run that jigsaw also. Obviously it's going to be very short because you're not going to have a lot of juice out of this small battery for a long time. But let's just see if we have the amperage. I'm not hoping for a lot. Okay. Let's see. Yep. Alright, so we've got juice to run small tools, which means you could conceivably run your, with this setup, although I will tell you, this will drain the battery fast, but with this setup you could conceivably run a laptop if you didn't have the 12 volt converter for your laptop or what have you. That would be the way to run it though, is to get the 12 volt or USB power cord for your laptop, but for your tablets and whatnot, it'll work fine. So let's go ahead and disconnect these, set everything aside. Just remember, whenever you're using things like this with your power pack, the power pack does maintain a little bit of residual power. So if you have something plugged into it after you turn it off, after you turn the power pack off, turn your tool or whatever on and it'll drain that little bit of power. I did it with this. I left the switch on this turned on, and that dumped any capacitor power that was in here. Alright, let's go ahead and unplug the jumper cables and we'll test something else here. Little rubber protectors for these fit kind of tight, but they're kind of wimpy too, so they're hard to get in there because they're hollow. But when they're in, they fit tight and they'll seal it pretty good. We'll try the USB. I've got my MP3 player here, my old MP3 player I just use for shop music. Let's see what kind of power we've got when it comes on. Alright, it says I'm at about 3/4 power. So let's plug it into here, turn our power on, and if you can see on the screen here, get it to focus. You can see right there on the screen the little indicator. The battery indicator is flashing and the lightning bolt symbol is on saying it's charging. So we are charging right now. Alright, so we know that works. So we'll go ahead and unplug that. And then when I get outside, we'll actually go ahead and do an actual jump start later on. Alright? Alright, this is Dan, Hardware Hollow Skills Channel, and we're going to go ahead and do a jump start test with the Harbor Freight Viking jump start box power pack. What we're going to be jumping is my generator here. Now I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to start because there is no fuel in it. It's parked in my garage. I haven't bought the new fuel for this year yet, but we're just going to test it. I normally jump start it or started I should say, with this full-size interstate battery. I've got my two clamps here, and I just slide the battery up, connect it to them, and it starts them. It starts off it, but we're just going to test it to make sure it's got enough cranking power to crank this generator over. Alright, let me get it set up and we'll be back. Alright, now what I've done here is I've got my hot, my neutral, and I've just got the two clamps clamped to each other. And now let's go ahead and you just got to make sure that you don't let the two sides touch. You want to keep them separate. So let's go ahead and turn the power on the jump start box. Alright, that's on. Now we'll hit the button to put in jump start mode. Alright, now I'm going to hit the button here to see if the generator cranks over. And it does, and that's a good strong crank. Alright, it's Dan, Hardwood Hollow Skills channel. This is going to be a continuation of the test of the Harbor Freight charging box. You'll see the description down below, and we're going to, my wife left the dome light on in our spare car the other night when we came home, and the battery is dead. Let me reset the camera. We'll show you in just a second. Alright, this is an 06 Toyota Matrix. It's a Napa battery, so it's not the original battery. Not sure how old it is, but we'll be using the Harbor Freight Viking charge box, and or power pack, if you will. And it includes a set of jumper cables. Like this, and the jumper cables plug into this port right here. So we'll go ahead and plug those in. Alright. And then it has quick start instructions on the side here for jump starting. But before we hook it up, let me turn the car over. You can hear that it is in fact dead. So you can hear it's completely dead. So now we'll read the instructions on the side here. It says connect the clamps to the battery first. So we're going to connect the power positive lead. Alright, so we hook the cable up to the box. Then we hook the power lead to the power side of the battery. I replaced her clamps with copper clamps so they wouldn't corrode as bad. And then we're going to connect this to a piece of grounded metal. And this should do the trick. And then it says to press and hold the power button. Alright, then you're going to press the jump start button, and that green light comes on. I did recharge this, so it's completely fully charged. Now let's give it a try. Alright, I don't think my ground is a clean enough clamp, so we're going to reverse. We're going to cut the power. So my ground clamp is not on bare enough metal. So there's a lot of bare metal in here, but a lot of it's rusty. So I'm going to do what it technically says not to do, which is connect it to the negative on the battery. I'm going to do that anyway because I know that's clean metal. Now we'll power up again. We'll hit the battery jump mode again. Now if it doesn't start right away, it's because the battery is too dead, and we're going to have to let it sit there and charge for a while. Alright, so power off. connect the ground and power. And there you go. That is the Harbor Freight Viking Compact Power Pack. So there you go. It works. It jump-started my wife's old car, Toyota Matrix. Alright, this is Dan, and we'll check in with you later. Have a good one.